Martha Henderson, a retired schoolteacher from Ohio, couldn't believe the letter in her mailbox. After 30 years of teaching and receiving what seemed like a fair pension, she discovered that her Social Security benefits had been slashed by nearly $400 each month because of something called the windfall elimination provision. Like millions of other public servants across America, Martha was being penalized for dedicating her career to serving others. But in January of 2025, everything changed when President Biden signed the Social Security Fairness Act into law, promising to restore what many believed was rightfully theirs. If you're curious about how this groundbreaking legislation could impact your financial future, or if you're among the millions who might be eligible for significantly higher monthly payments, then make sure to like this video and subscribe to the Golden Money channel. We're about to uncover the real story behind these benefit increases and what they might mean for your retirement security. The Social Security Fairness Act represents one of the most significant changes to Social Security benefits in decades, and its effects are already being felt across the nation. This legislation specifically targets to provisions that have long been sources of frustration for public sector workers, teachers, firefighters, police officers, and other government employees. These provisions, known as the windfall elimination provision and the government pension offset, have reduced or completely eliminated Social Security benefits for over 2.8 million Americans who dedicated their careers to public service. To understand why this matters so much, we need to step into the shoes of someone like Robert Thompson, a retired firefighter from Texas. Robert worked for the fire department for 25 years, contributing to a pension system that didn't pay into Social Security. However, before joining the fire department, he worked various jobs for 15 years where he did pay Social Security taxes. When Robert reached retirement age, he expected to receive both his firefighter pension and his earned Social Security benefits. Instead, he discovered that the windfall elimination provision had reduced his Social Security benefits by more than $300 per month, simply because he also received a pension from work that didn't contribute to Social Security. The government pension offset created similar challenges for spouses and survivors. Consider the case of Linda Martinez, whose husband worked as a postal employee for 30 years while she taught elementary school. When her husband passed away, Linda expected to receive survivor benefits from his Social Security record. However, because she received a teacher's pension, the government pension offset reduced her survivor benefits by 2/3 of her pension amount. In many cases, this meant that surviving spouses lost their entire Social Security survivor benefit, leaving them in difficult financial situations during their most vulnerable time. The Social Security Fairness Act eliminates both of these provisions entirely. For people like Martha, Robert, and Linda, this means their benefits are now calculated using the same formula that applies to all other Social Security recipients. The impact has been substantial and immediate. Social Security has processed over 2.5 million retroactive payments, affecting 3.2 million people including teachers and other public servants, with many recipients seeing increases that bring their monthly benefits closer to the $1,660 figure mentioned in discussions about this legislation. The financial implications extend far beyond individual cases. Many recipients are not only seeing higher monthly payments going forward, but they're also receiving substantial lump sum payments representing retroactive benefits dating back to January 2024. These retroactive payments can amount to thousands of dollars, providing unexpected financial relief for retirees who had been living with reduced benefits for years. However, it's important to understand that the $1,660 figure often mentioned in connection with this legislation isn't a universal amount that everyone will receive. Instead, it represents an example of what some beneficiaries might see as their new monthly payment after the elimination of these penalties. The actual increase varies significantly depending on individual circumstances, including the person's work history, the amount of their pension, and how long the provisions had been affecting their benefits. Take the example of Sarah Wilson, a retired police officer from California. Before the Social Security Fairness Act, her Social Security benefits were reduced from approximately $1,400 to $980 per month due to the windfall elimination provision. With the elimination of this provision, her benefits have been restored to their full amount, and she received a retroactive payment of over $5,000 representing the benefits that had been withheld since January 2024. For Sarah, this change represents not just additional monthly income, but also validation that her years of public service are finally being recognized fairly. The legislation particularly benefits women, who make up a significant portion of public sector workers in education and healthcare. Many female teachers and government employees had faced the double burden of lower lifetime earnings and reduced Social Security benefits due to these provisions. The elimination of these penalties helps address some of the gender disparities that have long existed in retirement security. But here's where the story becomes more complex, and this is the part that everyone needs to understand before getting too excited about these changes. While the Social Security Fairness Act provides immediate relief to millions of Americans, it also accelerates the timeline for Social Security's financial challenges. The program was already facing long-term funding issues, with the trust fund projected to be depleted by 2034 if no changes are made. The elimination of the windfall elimination provision in government pension offset will cost the Social Security system approximately $196 billion over the next decade. This means that while current beneficiaries are seeing increased payments, future beneficiaries may face greater uncertainty about the program's sustainability. The additional costs associated with this legislation bring forward the date when Social Security may need to cut benefits across the board if Congress doesn't take action to address the program's long-term funding gap. Some financial experts estimate that this could mean benefit cuts of 20–25% for all Social Security recipients if lawmakers don't find additional revenue sources or make other structural changes to the program. The cost implications extend beyond Social Security itself. The federal government is essentially taking on additional debt to fund these increased payments, which could have broader implications for government spending and fiscal policy. While the immediate impact provides relief to millions of deserving public servants, it also highlights the difficult choices that policymakers face when trying to balance current needs with long-term sustainability. For those who are currently receiving these increased benefits, the immediate financial relief is undeniable. Many are using these funds to pay for healthcare costs, help their children and grandchildren, or simply maintain a more comfortable standard of living in retirement. The retroactive payments have provided unexpected financial cushions for people who had been struggling to make ends meet on reduced benefits. However, younger workers and future retirees need to pay attention to the broader implications. If you're currently in your 40s or 50s, these changes could affect your retirement planning in ways that aren't immediately obvious. The accelerated timeline for Social Security's financial challenges means that you may need to save more for retirement or plan for the possibility that your Social Security benefits might be reduced in the future. The most crucial information that everyone needs to understand is this: while the Social Security Fairness Act provides immediate relief to millions of deserving Americans, it also represents a significant shift in how we think about the program's long-term sustainability. The legislation essentially borrows from future generations to provide current relief, creating a situation where today's benefits come at tomorrow's expense.